Everything you desire is waiting for you to claim it. There's no creating involved, only invention through imagination and building through action. You are at the center of all your desires, dreams, and achievements. Welcome to Designing Your Life Today, the podcast that's all about your success, achieving your goals, building wealth through your business, and building your most passionate, powerful, magnificent life. Discover ways to use your purpose to connect you to serving others and living your dreams. I am Pat Council, and I know you are built by design to win. And it all begins with knowing how to tap into your success energy. Let's get on the path of discovery, decisive action, development, and unwavering dedication to your life's calling. It's time to embark on a transformative journey where your deepest passions become your most rewarding achievements. Embrace your power to shape your destiny, because this is your moment to do life with power. Hello, Power Up Nation. I'm Pat Council, and on Designing Your Life Today, we're going to talk about earning money using what you know. This is our Thriving Thursday. So for those of you that are run a small business, a certain type, those of you that are aspiring to start a business, those of you that want to put a business online, you just want to get into business because you know that will make your life a lot better. In other words, you'll have more control over your destiny, your financial destiny, and your destiny period. So let's talk a little bit about earning money using what you know. Have you ever thought about earning money by teaching the things that you know? Now, this doesn't have to be where you're teaching either a foreign language or you're teaching English or you're teaching math. It doesn't have to be academics, okay, or academia. It doesn't have to be that way. There are so many things that you can teach where you can actually earn money. And guess what? You can do it in your own home. You don't have to leave home to start to bring in an income. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what you can do, and it's a great way for you to start earning money. And I know it works because when the economy collapsed in 2007 and 2008, and I eventually started with the podcast. And well, before that, I was actually doing some presentations and different workshops. But eventually it evolved into coaching. So we're not going to talk about coaching or live coaching or private coaching per se, but we are going to talk a little bit about coaching, because once I decided to transition into business coaching, and now it's kind of evolved into both life coaching as well as business coaching. And once I decided to transition into that, then I wanted to be able to offer some other opportunities to help people to continue to learn when we were not in a session, or to help them or put them in a position so they could get information so they could complete their homework. So this was for people who wanted additional information, because I really love to see people succeed. Also, there were some people who my time frame or my schedule couldn't coincide or couldn't match their schedule. So our timing was off, and some people wanted me to coach really late at night, which I don't do that. I do coach at night, but not really, really late, like after 9. So that's not what I do. And so what I wanted to do was to get something to help people to succeed no matter what. And so when it came to that, I thought, you know what? I need to create a more flexible way for people to learn. In other words, for them to learn on their time. So once I started my podcast, then I started to get a lot of listeners. And then I found out that my podcast it had a ranking in over 55 countries. And I thought, okay, then I started getting emails and people were asking me questions. What do I do about this? How would you do that? And so I thought, you know what? I don't have the time to really give them the answer that they need, or the most thorough answer needed. Now, I would always respond. I always respond to my emails. And if you ever send me an email and I don't respond, it's because I haven't seen it. Sometimes they go to spam, and I do eventually get around to checking my spam, but that's like maybe a few times a year. So with that being said, I decided to create some online courses. In this way, so people could get a thorough answer. They could get the best answers. I would respond to them in email and say, okay, you can find some answers in this course. Now, I also set up a free course at that time that would kind of give them some insights into different things. And then the other courses were available at a cost, and it was very cost effective. So where am I going with this? There are so many different things that you can teach. This is such a great way for you to earn money using what you know. Now, you said, well, I'm not a business coach. I've never been in business, so I don't have that kind of experience, and I don't want to be a life coach. Well, here's the beautiful thing about setting up an online course. You can actually teach what you know. I mean, what kind of skills do you really have? Or what can you teach? Are you good with arts and crafts? You could actually do a course teaching people how to knit, how to crochet, how to quilt, or different things, needlepoint, whatever types of arts and crafts that you can come up with. You can actually show them how to get started. People are so interested in that, and they're still interested in that today because they're looking for things to do. Okay, nobody wants to stay on their cell phone or their computer or watch television all day long. People want things to do. You can even create a course where you're teaching people how to connect with other people. In other words, how to communicate in a way that allows them to network effectively. So there's so many different things. You can even come up with a course for people. Let's say if you do specialize in certain businesses that require people to take continued education, or requires them to pass a test after taking a continued education course. So you can even set that up. You can set up a course teaching people how to pass certain tests and what to look for and these kinds of things. There's so many different interests out there. Now, I could go on and on with that, but you know what you're interested in. I'm sharing this with you because I promised that periodically on Thriving Thursday, I would give you ideas for earning money. And this is a great way for you to earn money. Now, I can tell you there's so many different online course programs that are out there today, and you could choose your own and get started with one of them. However, one thing that I noticed, because I kind of did my homework before I just jumped out and chose a program. One thing that I noticed is that many of these online course programs, they have the videos that gave me the instructions that walked me through everything. And if I got stuck, it said that I could send them an email. So I had to wait. And I'm not necessarily a fan of always having to wait, but also sometimes I like to be able to see a face and have a conversation with a live person, so to speak. Even though the person that's responding to the email might be live. I don't know. Nowadays we have those chat bots. But anyway, let's press on. So I found a really great company, and I'm going to put the link in the show notes and you guys can check it out. And one thing that I love about the company that I'm using is, and you can take a look at my courses by going to designingyourlifeachievers.academy.com, and you'll see some of my courses. I have lots of courses, but I think I only have about 6 on display that's available. 5 that are available, and one that's coming up and it's about communication. But we're not quite there yet with that one. But the beautiful part about this program that I signed up for is I'm a fan of customer service. I'm a stickler for really good service. And if I don't know how to do something, I need to be able to connect with someone that's going to make sure I get it done, because I'm spending my money, and I also want to make money in return. And so I love this company because not only do they have the videos, and these videos are so easy, a baby could follow them. However, since I'm not a baby, sometimes I have extra questions that I want to ask. And in a moment, I'm going to share with you another reason, some of the reasons why you really want to, this makes a great business for you to go into, setting up your courses. But in addition to that, this company, they have the weekly training. If you're a beginner, they have weekly training. If you are experienced and you need to take things to another level. So they really cover everything. And so I was able to learn very quickly. I was able to set things up. And that's a big deal coming from me, you guys, because at that time, I was not so, let's say, educated in that area. So I needed something that was simple, that I could set up, that wouldn't take me forever. And I needed to get in the position where I could actually make money. So with that being said, this is such a great company. And as I said, I'll put the link in the show notes for you guys so you can take a look at the program that I use. Now, I've added that link, but I added that link as a result of having a conversation or connecting with that company and asking if they could give you guys 30 days free to just look around. So if any of you want to look around, it's 30 days free. And then if you decide you want to continue with it, yes, there is a cost that comes with that. And so with that being said, I think it's really a great way, especially if you like talking and you think you're going to be able to teach something. You don't have to spend a lot of time making lots of videos. And there's so many different ways that you can set your course up. Now, even if you decide, you know what, I want to try a different course program, I think it's worth checking into it for 30 days, or at least signing up, because you get that free 30 days. You don't even have to use the full 30 days if you don't want to, but you can look at it and you could go, you know what, I think I can do this. So you explore. When it comes to earning more money and actually learning how to make your life easier, you have to kind of do your homework a little bit. You have to explore. You have to learn some things. I never thought I would actually be putting courses online, and I've been doing this for more than 10 years now. And it's been very effective for me, not to mention it's also profitable. Because here's the other thing about having an online course, especially if you're going to teach people things. If you're going to teach people arts and crafts and some of the other things, you can even teach people martial arts. You can teach them fitness. There's so many different things that you can teach and put up a course. Now, a lot of times people want to teach these things because it's something that they're interested in and they love it. And so that means they automatically know who their market or target market would be. And what they want to do is they look for live people to teach. And I remember coaching actually several people, and I found myself sharing this with them more than once. And I explained to them that, listen, you want to have a brick and mortar building, and you don't have the money to get a building. You don't even have the money to cover the rent if you were to lease a space. So why don't you start online, and then you can build your income that way? You can actually put the courses online. And I've had some people who have put their courses online and they've been very successful with it. And then there are a few who put their courses online and they made a little bit of money. And then there's some who put the courses online and they didn't follow through. So that's the caveat in today's podcast. You guys know I always give you a little caveat because I want you to know what to be prepared for and what to look out for. So as you start to look at your goals and ways to achieve these goals and ways to increase your income or even get an income coming in, as I said, it's important for you to do your homework. So take a look at this because you might be surprised how this works out for you. And I want you to understand that no matter what you're going to do, it's going to require that you put some effort into it. You're going to have to put some work into it. You're going to have to do something because that's how it works. If everything is energy, then in order for you to bring in more money, you have to put out the right kind of energy to get the right amount of funds. So think about that. It will save you time because let's just say hypothetically you were a fitness trainer or a fitness coach and you're teaching fitness and all of a sudden you find that in your particular area where you live, and I'm going to give you two scenarios. The first one is you're in a certain area, and in that particular area, there's so many fitness coaches, or there are lots of gyms, and you're having a difficult time getting a steady clientele. Well, one of the beautiful things about putting a course online and coaching online is you get people from everywhere. Remember, at the beginning, I mentioned that my podcast has a ranking in 55 countries, which means that anyone who's listening to my podcast, whenever I launch a new course, they have access to that course. So that means I don't just have to make money from people, first of all, that I see face to face. Secondly, people that are in my immediate area. Okay, so think about that. And not only that, it will save you time. So that's the other scenario. Instead of you saying the same thing over and over and over again to different people, okay, you've got 5 different people that you're coaching, and you've got to do the same thing over and over again to 5 different people. So that takes up a lot of your time. Most people are going for passive income these days. And a great way to get passive income coming in and to keep it coming in is to actually start setting up some things online. And as a matter of fact, when it comes to, let's say, product sales and things of that nature, I find online courses to be, let's say, a lot less work. You see, so, and of course there are other on-demand companies, but we'll talk about that in another podcast, for your products and things of that nature. But online courses, it's so easy. Once you set it up, then your job is to just let people know it's out there. Let people know it exists. And of course, there's a little bit more to it than that, but we're not going to go into the marketing aspect of it all in this podcast. This podcast is all about giving you an idea that will help you earn money using what you know. There are times when people think, you know what, I don't have a college degree. I didn't get beyond an associate's degree. Well, I didn't get beyond high school, but I know how to do this. For example, I know how to repair a kitchen sink or do basic repairs around the house or just repairs. So you can actually set up a course teaching people how to either start a repair business or teaching people how to do basic repairs around the house. And there's so much more that comes with that when it comes to setting up your course. So you can upsell to different courses and upsell other things. So you can actually earn money right at home and not have to always worry about when is the money coming in. For those of you that have a job and you keep thinking about the side hustle thing, well, you know how I feel about a side hustle. I think you have to focus. But the reality of it is sometimes we have to do what we have to do, right? So if you have to do what you have to do, and you say, well, I need this job right now. Fine. While you're working on the job, you can create courses at night put those courses out there, market those courses. And the beautiful part about this company that I'm with, they share different things that you can do to market your courses. And with the live classes that they have, if you can't make the live classes, of course, the classes are recorded and you can watch them in your own time. And if you say, well, while watching it, you came up with a lot of questions, you can write those questions down and you can actually, at that point, email those questions in, go to your site and email those questions to them, and you will get a response. They're very good and very prompt. So as I said, I'm a stickler for customer service. So I look for companies that serve me. If you're going to give them your money, they need to serve you to the point where you become on the side of, let's say, an expert at putting these courses together and start to make money from them. So with that being said, I want to remind you that I'm going to put the link in there for you to check it out for 30 days. It's awesome. And you guys, I think you're going to love it, especially, as I said, if you like talking. And even if you don't like talking a lot, you don't have to talk a lot. You could, if you're teaching something specific like repairs and things, it's more of a show and tell kind of thing. So instead of people, or instead of putting everything on YouTube, you can put things on this, start a course, which means you can actually control your income. Of course, if you put things on YouTube, yes, you can make some money. YouTube will pay you, but they pay you a very small percentage of each video based on the number of views. Then you have to reach a certain number of views. We're not going to go deeply into YouTube because that's not what this podcast is about. But I'm giving you a comparison. And YouTube pays you what they want you to have. But when you have your own courses, then you can do your series of videos, put them in a course, and you can charge what the market will bear. And so now you're controlling your income. And there's so many different things, you guys, that you can do. I promise you, if you check this out, I think you'll be impressed with what you see. I think you'll feel comfortable because I find this to be, as I said, one of the easier online course software programs that I've ever used. And I have looked into many of the others. And it's not Udemy, so check it out, because I've looked into Udemy, and I'm not saying these other companies are bad, because they aren't. But I like things simple. I don't have a lot of time. And my job is to make sure if I put together a course, is to put it together, not have a lot of struggle with it, get that information in front of people so that they can reach their goals. Because I'm super passionate about seeing people win and seeing people reach their goals and get the information that they need. So one last thing, if you have an online course, as I have online courses, let's say, remember I said, okay, I'm not going to do live private coaching, 9:00 at night. However, if they want to go to a course, they can get started. A lot of these are do-it-yourself courses. But they're very thorough, very specific with the downloads and everything that they can download and pop into a binder if they choose to. But the point I'm making is that 9:00, 10:00, 11:00, for the night owls, yeah, they can go and get some training. They can get the answers to their questions. No one has to wait to get what they need so that they can achieve their goals. And that's really exciting. So I want to ask you, what would you teach? What comes to mind? What is the thing that would excite you and you believe it would excite other people? And so it is about sharing something from a position of excitement as well as a position of expertise. Now, my other caveat is, when I say a position of expertise, there's some people who I guess are experts because they've been successful at doing something for a very long time, and they consider themselves to be experts. And as I said, the excitement part is there are some people who say, well, I know how to teach people to do this, but I don't really consider myself an expert. But you can teach people enough so that you can help them. Again, this is a great way to earn money using what you already know. I think when it comes to making money, sometimes we make it harder than it has to be. Sometimes I get the chance to talk to people and they tell me about their financial struggles. And then as we're talking, I said, you know what? You're focused more on what you don't have. You're focused more on the idea that this is hard or this is going to be a challenge. In other words, the challenge with, bringing in the kind of money that they desire to bring in. You're focused on the wrong side of the coin. Okay. And so let's flip this over and go to the other side and put your focus on what can I do to actually earn the kind of money that I need. Don't make it harder than it has to be, you guys. You are built by design to win. And one of the ways you do life with power is when you start to take control of your destiny by saying, you know what, I can teach this or I can share this information. For those of you that are super, super shy and say, you know what, I don't want to be seen on camera. You know what? That's why you can go on Zoom, create some slideshows, if you will, from Zoom, or put up your little charts there. Yes, your face is going to be seen, but it'll be small in the little corner, and you can still get your information out there. But now I have to say this. And don't take it personal. I promise you, if your information is probably so good, nobody is focused on your face. Nobody is that zoomed in on you. They're focused on learning. Either if it's something that's going to make their lives better, it's a kind of recreational thing, and it's going to help them de-stress. So whatever it is, they're going to be focused on that. If someone pays, and they will pay to see your course, okay, or participate in that course, then you know what? They are going to be focused on that. One last thing as we start to wrap up. I mentioned Zoom. The beautiful thing about this course program is it works in conjunction with Zoom. Sometimes when I'm doing a masterclass, and if I have to do, let's say if I want to do, there are people who say, well, you know what? I missed the masterclass, and we're talking about masterclasses the ones that I charge for. I record the masterclass, and so I turn it into a course. And for people that missed it, and they want to see it again, and they're willing to pay, then they can pay and they can watch the masterclass from beginning to end. I don't have to do 5 or 6 masterclasses or keep scheduling the same masterclass over and over again. So what does that do? It saves me time, and I can put my time towards either learning something new, experiencing something new, experimenting with something new to see what really works. Okay. And so I write books, and so I can spend time writing my books, things that are going to allow me to use my gifts and talents to benefit the people in my market, the people who I'm targeting in my target market, and so on and so on. So with that being said, you guys, I'm going to wrap up. This is a great way for you to earn money using what you know. You don't have to wait on some school or college to give you a job. Now, last caveat, it is work. And I've said that more than once. You're going to have to put some work into it initially. But the whole point, in me, doing this particular podcast is because I get a lot of questions about earning money and people telling me that they don't have money, but they have these skills. So the thing about this is that, and I keep saying you have to put some work into it, but the whole point about this particular program, yes, you have to put some work, but there's a difference between struggling and trying to figure out what to do versus connecting with an online program where they are going to walk you through everything. And they have live classes where a live person comes on the screen and you can ask your questions live. They'll put you on the screen or not. But either way, you can ask your questions live. And when I say or not, it's your choice. So that, I don't think it gets any better than that, because you can specifically ask your questions. For those of you that don't like using a chat bot, or you don't want to use an AI assistant, but you actually need a human being to walk you through something. They are so super patient. So with that being said, that is all I have for you on this Thriving Thursday. I want to encourage you to put yourself in a position to thrive. 2026, this is the year that you get in the mix. Do something different, do something new, do something that will take you to where you desire to be so that you can achieve your goals and build your magnificent life. Hey, that's all I have, you guys. Remember to do life with power, knowing that you're built by design to win.